at the quarter pole. Happy Friday, everybody, on NFL Live. Hannah Storm, we have RC, we have Dano, and we have Mina.
Marcus.
Hey, Mina.
Marcus. Marcus.
From far away. Marcus. Yeah, he's nowhere to be seen. We have an AFC heavyweight headlining Week 4. We got the Chiefs and the Ravens, and we got it underway last night. NFC West showdown with a wild ending. This is looking like the best division in football so far. With the Cardinals fall to 2-2. The Hawks go to 3-1. And just exactly what you said, Dan.
Yeah.
This Darnold to JSN connection is so effective. He's completing 10% more of his passes when targeting JSN. He's averaging 4 more yards per attempt. He has as many passing yards to him as all other receivers combined. And it is the only QB wide receiver combo in the league that is sitting right now at 400 yards. So what did the tape show you last night?
Yeah, this combination is absolutely fantastic. The third downs, am I getting up and doing the touch screen now? Okay. The third downs that basically end the football game are the story, and it's connection. So this is 3rd and 6. I love the play call, I love the execution. So 3rd and 6, RC knows this. This ball's getting snapped at about the 25. So this defensive back right here, he's going to be sitting at the sticks, meaning he's going to be sitting right around the 21-yard line, expecting that ball come out. Here's Jackson Smith and Jigba. They often spray release and run these curl routes, right? So that corner's just going to be sitting there waiting for it. Watch as Jackson Smith and Jigba sprints off the ball, and then when he gets to that 6 yards, what's he do? He stops his feet, right? Like right now, he squats down, gives a little peek back to the quarterback, selling, here comes that curl route. I'm going right past that down and distance marker, and I want to get the conversion. No, it's a double move. Sam holds his eyes, and then the ball's thrown absolutely perfect down the sideline. Absolutely perfect by Sam Darnold. That's a 3rd and 6 conversion to basically salt the game. Now go to the game-winning throw, right? After that kick that goes out of bounds or missing the landing area, JSN's at the bottom of the screen. They cut his split. So why do they cut his split? They're trying to get a chunk. Cut split, he can go out, he can go in, or he can go all the way across the field. So we're creating a 3-way go for him, challenging to that defensive back. I love a couple things about this. JSN widens on the release. So right now, he's kind of telling that corner, I'm creating space for myself. Sam holds his eyes just for a second to see that safety, and JSN's going to go vertical. But the decision has to get made. Like right now, you can see JSN peek that safety, like where are you, right? And he's trying to peek where this corner is in relation to him. If that corner's on his back hip, Sam's going to throw this ball up over the top with air. But because that corner's really on top of him, he should expect one throw, that back shoulder throw. Now the thing is, quarterback has to see it the same way as well. JSN peeks back, that ball is already out of Sam Darnold's hands, and then again, the ball placement, giving him the chance to stop and adjust with his body control. Absolutely sensational. Field goal kicked by the Seahawks in a win on the road. I just think the connection between those two guys is so good right now. And if you're playing man coverage against JSN, Sam Darnold's going to go to him with the football.
And JSN is having a superstar leap this season. And watching him, there's a couple things that jump out to me. One, his emergence is like a true 3-level threat. It's kind of crazy, guys, to think back to his rookie season. He was a first-round draft pick. Remember that. But he was mostly used in the slot on little hitches and screens. And now he is completely used on the perimeter, downfield, runs the entire route tree. And then the other thing, and Dan really alluded to this when he talked about the connection with Darnold, is just the faith that his quarterback has in him.
Yeah.
The Seahawks do a great job of helping JSN get open through their formations, the way they bunch him, stack him, etc. But on throws where he has less than 3 yards of separation, he leads all receivers in yards per route run. He's only behind Amon-Ra St. Brown in EPA, expected points added. And you saw it on the back shoulder. There was an out. Darnold just believes that even if it doesn't look open, he's going to get open. And that is something that feels completely sustainable over the course of the season. It's truly something special building there.
Yeah, it wasn't targeted at all in the first half. And again, there's so much to really like about this team. Mina alluded to JSN's journey, which is so interesting. But what about the defensive side of the ball?
I think the defense isn't going to get the credit it deserved last night or by the nation because of the way the game ended, right? Marvin Harrison Jr. making some plays late, Kyler Murray with an awesome comeback. But Kyler Murray Windhorst was under duress the entire night. This front four has absolutely gotten after the quarterback. So when I look at this safety duo of Kobe Bryant and Julian Love, to me, they're the new Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer. They're underrated everything in the middle of the field. When they get back Nick Emanwari, who's the rookie who was going to start at nickel, I'll be interested to see what Mike McDonald does with him, because Mike McDonald is showing me week in and week out, he's truly a defensive genius with the simulated pressures, the disguises, adding one and running fire zones, man-to-man zero on the back end. They're so creative because they're so talented.
Can I ask you a question on defense? So, it's one of my favorite offenses to watch on tape right now. I think they throw so much personnel grouping and motion and shift and motion and under center and shot. Is it fair to say that offensively they're in a group from a defensive perspective that is throwing as much at you as anybody? Oh. And then defensively, are they as physical as anybody in the league, all 11?
Yeah, they're absolutely physical. They run to the ball, they hunt. Here is what I say about Seattle offensively that makes them extremely difficult. Everything looks the same.
Yeah.
Right? From one formation, you can get run, you can get play action boot, you can get a shot. From so many different split alignments, Jackson Smith and Jigba, like you said, you can get the crosser, you get the deep post, you get the out, and you get basically what's a slot fade, right? With nobody outside of you because of the reduced split.
Correct.
And I say this all the time, training camp is where they got better.
Yeah.
Facing Mike McDonald, facing Clint Kubiak, going against one another, that schematic sort of challenge makes you better when the season starts.
Yeah, good point.
Well, RC, you left camp and you texted the group chat, Jackson Smith and Jigba is going to be a problem this year. I remember it against the Packers. We now know are awesome. Speaking of texting, Dan and I were going back and forth between the game because the Seahawks were leaning so hard into their two tight end sets. And if you're a Cardinals fan and you're watching, hey, why are the Seahawks tight ends constantly being defended by linebackers 20 yards down the field? It's because they were running out of 12 personnel. The Cardinals were matching it with base. It's exactly what we've been talking about all season. I do want to say one thing about the offense, though, before we move on. I do not like the conservatism late in the game, and this has now been an issue for a couple of games with this offense and the play caller. I did not love them at midfield going run, run, run to set up the long field goal. Your passing attack is too good to turtle up that way, and they're going to lose against better teams if they don't.
Well, this is what you want, Mina, right? You want them to be winning, but then room for improvement. This feels like one of those teams that's just going to get better and better in a very, very tough division. By the way, they travel really well under McDonald. They never lose on the road. All right, to the AFC this weekend. As the Ravens, they're traveling to Kansas City to take on the Chiefs. Let's take a look at Baltimore's defense here, shall we? Actually, for all the criticism that they've engendered, this is pretty much like last year. A reminder, last year they were really slow out of the gate. They started 1-2, but they finished 12-5, won the AFC North, and they ended up allowing the fewest yards per rush in the NFL. So why have they been struggling so much lately, RC? How do you diagnose
Well,
it?
I think the first thing is, obviously, last week you don't have Nnamdi Madubuike, right? And that's huge when you look at the way that Detroit was able to dominate them in the run game in between the tackles. But the other piece of it is, for me, like when your best players don't play like your best players, it's an issue. And if you look at Roquan Smith in that last game, he just wasn't there. He wasn't physical. He wasn't diagnosing. He wasn't anticipating. He wasn't impacting the game. And that worries me because, to me, that's now a year and 3 games. He hasn't looked like himself. And the Detroit Lions weren't scared to go for it on 4th down, weren't scared to take chances because you couldn't stop them. And so how is Zach Orr going to figure out a way to get Kyle Hamilton more involved, to get Roquan Smith more involved, but also find ways to make plays in critical football moments? Because we haven't seen that from them against Buffalo in week 1 or last week against Detroit, the two good teams they played.
Yeah, you guys know the phrase iron sharpens iron. The Ravens' run defense against the Chiefs' rushing attack is like cotton softens cotton or something. Like, it's the opposite of that. Whoever fails in this matchup, we are going to feel so terrible about. Like, if the Chiefs can't run on Baltimore, they can't run on anyone. If Baltimore can't stop the Chiefs, that's a problem. I'm interested in seeing from Ryan, you mentioned Zach Orr. He made that brilliant midseason adjustment last year to fix the pass defense. I want to see if he has a card to play in the run defense. Madubuike being out, it hurts them a lot structurally. Do they maybe play a safety a little bit closer to the box? Do they switch it up with the linebackers that they're starting? It feels like something has to change, and it feels incumbent upon the defensive coordinator to figure this out.
All right, so
I know iron sharpens iron is Proverbs 27:17. I don't know cotton sharpens cotton.
Wow, that's by the way, that's
Mina Kimes, 1 and 1.
Love the Bible knowledge. That's really good. Can you give me some football knowledge?
Yeah, I tried.
How do they face? Listen,